Hi there, Chris here with another fresh tip for you all. In this video, we are going to continue our look at painting with TurboDork's new Twin Sons paint. In this video, we're going to take a look at pre-shading, or Zenithal, whichever term you prefer. This model here has been given a good light gray prime using StanoRes light gray with an airbrush at around 20 psi. We're going to get things started with some carbon black from Liquitex. This is an ink. We're going to use our Patriot 105, spraying at around 20 psi. As I always work, I usually do a quick little test flow, make sure everything's flowing properly before I begin working on a project. And with this, I just basically slap this onto the model, quickly working my way around, trying to get as even coverage as possible without, overly saturating areas with too much pigment. But because this is an ink, it doesn't lay on very thick on a surface, so it's actually quite nice. And as you can see, it gives us a slight glossiness in its finish. Titanium white, we're going to add that. Basically, I'm going to try and go for a mid-tone gray, so I just simply add about, I think it was initially like 8 drops of black, and so I end up adding about 8 or 9 drops of white, going for a bit of a mid-tone here. It's actually quite dark. It's actually almost the same hue as the primer I used. And with this, I'm going to spray at a 45-degree angle to the model. So basically all I have to do is just spray, hold my position, and just kind of rotate the model around and spray. And that'll give me pretty much all the coverage. And then, of course, I give it a spray from the top down just to bring out some of that surface texture and, just kind of catch some of those edges. You can see it looks fairly heavy and wet on there, but it's fine. Next, we're going to come in with some pure titanium white. We're going to switch over to a Renegade Chrome just for some extra precision. We're still spraying at around 20 psi, but with the smaller needle and smaller brush size, we don't really need that much white. And really, we're switching to this so that we get a better control, because basically here I'm going to spray it just on top of the shoulder pad, just along the top of the backpack, the helmet, and just basically work my way around. Also, a few other points as I work my way around on the surface. I will mask off basically with using like my thumb or whatever I can to get like at the shin armor, and we end up kind of leaving a bit of the thigh pads not covered, but that is fine as it's really, really dark, and really we're just looking to bring this up to a nice bright tone as we work our way up to the high points. Here you can see I'm just trying to get this to lay on nice and evenly, making sure that I'm building up to a nice bright tone. So you can see I'm bringing up some of those other areas to a brighter tone around those orbs, the shoulder pads, the helmet, and of course the feet. And also I will get the forearm that's holding the melted gun. Here I'm just simply going to use an old business card to mask off the lower portion, just so that I don't get too much overspray on any of those areas. But otherwise, you can't really see it there, but yeah, I think you guys get the point here. I'm just simply catching that, and just so there was no overspray on the lower portions. And then of course I'm trying to get onto the feet as well, the very tippy toes. With this, we are kind of we're going for a Zenithal. Like if we were really kind of going for a true Zenithal, we would just hit it like uniformly from the top. But here we're being very deliberate, laying it just on top of the shoulder pad, just on top of the helmet. You know what I mean? We're just picking out individual sections of the model. This is actually like a Zenithal on top of each armor segment, but if it was truly a Zenithal type of light sourcing on the model, it would be uniform across the entirety. So the upper portions of the model would be a lot brighter than the lower portions, and anywhere that was not getting any light. Here you can see we're just highlighting the back of the shin guards, whatever that is, it's just because the light would gather there. And you can see on the one leg, we just stopped at the knee and brought that light in. Basically, I masked that off with my thumb and sprayed downwards into that, the shin, just to get that highlight to build up there. We're going to jump over to some Twin Sons yet again. Again, we're kind of working through the permutations here. We're jumping back to our Patriot 105, still spraying at around 20 psi, just doing a quick little test to make sure the flow is where I want it. And this is going to be applied uniformly over the entirety of the model. So we are going to move the model spray up into areas as well. And immediately you see the color just immediately jump out at you, and you can see that the lighter greens in the dark tones, like the first video, how we went with a black prime, you can see how it gives us those varying tones. And so actually for an Alpha Legion scheme, this is actually kind of the opposite of really what we want. We want blue at the bottom portions with greens at the top. And I had made a post the day of making these videos of, this, and somebody had suggested doing a reverse Zenithal. So in that spirit, and of course to, test out this person's idea, I don't recall who the name was, we've started off with a white. We're going to mix titanium white and carbon black. We're going to use a Patriot 105, still spraying at around 20 PSI. We're going to mix these up in a cup, going for about a mid-tone, kind of like we previously did. I actually think this is a bit more white than it is black, but that's fine. I mean, we're just looking for a gray. And again, I'm spraying it around a 45-degree angle to the model surface. And so basically all it takes is just for me to turn it and just maintain position on my brush as I work my way around. And you'll see that the gray is on the high points and it'll be white in the underneaths. Next, we're going to jump into the carbon black. We're going to switch back over to our Renegade Chrome, just like we had done with the previous portion or earlier bit of this video, just for a bit more control. We're still spraying it around 20 PSI. We're being a little bit more controlled, so I'm going to spray just at the top of the head, top of the shoulder pads, and the arms, as well as the legs and the toes and such. Basically, we're going to concentrate it, thinking of this kind of like in photography when we're looking at the negative. So everything that was really, really bright, we're pushing towards black, and everything that's where the shadow is really, really white. And as you see the model was moved there, you could see that there's actually quite a bit of white still showing through, and that's actually what we want to occur. And here I'm just simply laying it in more on the toes and the knees, the back of the guards. Now we could have worked it a little bit more reduced, but I actually laid quite a bit of black down, but that's fine. I'm not too concerned about it because, again, I think it's going to actually help in the end with this. And so we're simply just going to lay this in, and I'm just quickly kind of finishing off some areas here. I'm just sketching just the hands, the top of the hands and such, just some of the little fine-tuned type of areas, but otherwise we're not too concerned with everything. We're pretty much happy with everything. We're jumping back into the Twin Sons. We are using our Patriot 105, and we're spraying it around 20 PSI. Basically, this is going to be just like we've done it previously. We're going to spray this uniformly over the entirety of the model. So we're working it into all the undertones, all the underneath, and the undercarriage, as it were. And basically just let it do its thing. And of course, because now we have the white on the underside, we have more of that blue showing through, as we can see here. And this actually feels a bit more like the Alpha Legion. And you can see here, once we set it aside, allow it to dry for a little bit, you can see how we've got our final look. And so really it's kind of, what look do you want? The one on the right was in a traditional type of Zenithal type of highlighting scheme where white is built up to the high points, and the one on the left is the one we just finished where we built black. It's kind of like a negative. It's like a film negative. I don't know. It was an interesting idea, and I thought it was worth exploring, and I actually kind of like how that looks. And I did not bring these to the full completion like we did with the previous examples of the Alpha Legion, as I really didn't think it was entirely necessary. I think we get the point of it by this point, but there it is. That is the Zenithal pre-shade with this Twin Sons from TurboDork. Hopefully you guys found this one interesting. Big thank you to all my patrons. Without their support, these videos would not be possible. If you're considering Patreon support, click the link in the description below, and you'll be taken off to a magical website called Patreon, where there are varying tiers of support, and a huge thank you to everybody who does. Take care of those brushes, and they will take care of you.